Well, a very warm welcome to our coverage of this podcast again, Spireites Extra Time. We're going to reflect on the draw at Tranmere. The sad news that Armando Dobra is going to be out for a while with a serious injury and a throw forward for Stevenage on Saturday. Paul Fisher and Liam Norcliffe with you today, as usual. We've had some very positive feedback as well from this podcast as well, which is we're ever so grateful for. Thank you very much for watching, and please like and subscribe. Tell your friends as well, as they always say. Are you all right, Liam?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just getting used to the dark nights are back now, aren't they?
Mm.
It's depressing, isn't it? Although it is a little bit lighter in the morning for a few weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not too bad, not too bad. So Saturday, obviously the lead up to the game was can Chesterfield put in or not put in a performance like they had at Colchester going into the game after three good performances at home,
Mm.
and try and change what they've been doing away from home. And by and large, they certainly did that because if you look at it, that they came away at the end with a point, an away point, which is always a good thing, isn't it? You know, a win's the added bonus at times, but you got something from the game, and deservedly so as well. It's just a shame that their goal
Mm.
came in the 93rd minute when it didn't really look like they were going to get something.
Yeah, it was the perfect away performance for 92 minutes, wasn't it?
Mm,
Until that gut-wrenching equaliser. Yeah, they were definitely much improved from Colchester. There was a clear and refreshing game plan, I thought, in terms of how they set up. They didn't give Tranmere a sniff, really, did they? And they were a big threat on the counter attack as well, which was nice to see. I think on another day they put the game to bed probably before half time, don't they? Denied by a couple of saves, could have been a couple of goals to the good, and even had a couple of chances in the second half as well. And even though Tranmere didn't really look like scoring, you just sort of know. You've watched enough football games, haven't you, over the years to know that you just had a little niggly feeling that they were going to just go and score out of nothing. We've watched enough football, haven't we, to just know that you do need that second goal. And like I say, even though that Chesterfield were never really in any serious danger in that second half, you just thought they need that. They need to get that second goal. And unfortunately, it came back to bite them, didn't it? But I think for me, the bigger picture was that was a much better away performance. That was much more like it. And I think that's something that they can build on. It's a foundation, it's a blueprint that you want to see now for the rest of the season. They earned the right to play. They had to, I wouldn't say they come under massive pressure, but they were, Tranmere started quite brightly, and I think Chesterfield were caught out by the wind a little bit early on. But once they got the first goal, they dominated the rest of that first half, and like I say, could have been a couple of goals up had they been a little bit more ruthless. Dylan Marcandy had a couple of chances, didn't he? James Berry was looking really lively down the left, and they just had a better structure about them. So it's something to build on. I think a lot of people probably would have taken a point before, even though Tranmere, a little bit lowly down there, aren't they? Sort of three-quarters of the way down the table, especially after losing 4-0 there in April, wasn't it? And then
mm.
conceding six at Colchester just recently. So I think a lot of people probably would have taken a point before. But yeah, it just felt like a little bit of a loss at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, I think looking at sort of Tranmere's game plan as well, they were a side that like to get it quick up to Jennings. He's such a key player for them, isn't he? And they feed off him as well. And the sort of Jennings and Davidson are a bulldozing type of strike force, aren't they?
Mm.
That you've got to be against the metal. And by and large, Dunkley and McFadden, and credit to Che Dunkley as well because he picked up a yellow card in the first half. That he was ready to see out them for the remainder of the game. Apart from that last minute sort of equalised well because really, despite a lot of possession that Tranmere had in the second half, and credit to Kieran Dyer, he did say that they were good in the second half. They pressed Chesterfield back at times, and Chesterfield playing on the counter attack, but didn't do anything with it though. There was a 5 minute spell from 40 minutes up until half time when they had the shout for a penalty and they had the offside goal and they were bombarding Chesterfield's box. They had 3 or 4 corners, I think, that seemed to cause Chesterfield a few problems. They were facing their own goal. I like the fact Chesterfield turned them around and, Chesterfield faced their own fans first. I thought that was a very good excuse to do that because you know how loud it can get behind the goal, as we saw in the second half last season, didn't we? So
Mm.
it was a good thing to do. They weathered that sort of 5 minute storm as well, albeit with what I thought was handball with the goal because Zach Hemming raced off, pointing his arm in the air
Mm.
as if there was handball in there, but maybe there was a combination of offside, handball, just about everything. But the flag was up pretty quick, wasn't it? So I don't really know if there was a
It,
looking.
it it was just bizarre because yeah, apart from Zach Hemming, if you look back at the replay, all the Chesterfield players just their heads go down in
Yeah.
disappointment that they've conceded, and they look to walk back to the halfway line. So there's only Zach Hemming who was appealing for something, and Tranmere did go off celebrating, and then the flag went up, and the nature of the flag looked like it was offside, but looking back at it, I just can't see that. Like, and I've watched the Tranmere manager's post-match interview as well, and he was asked, why was it disallowed, and he's been given an explanation, but I'm not sure even he
Mm-mm.
understood what the explanation was. It just sounds very confusing. So yeah, maybe Chesterfield did get away with one there, but they also should have had a stonewall penalty in that second half when Lee Bonis was totally wiped out. And again, just another confusing decision because that is a penalty. He lets play go on, but he doesn't signal that. The referee usually when there's an advantage, the referee will put his arms out in front to let the crowd know I'm playing advantage. And he doesn't do that. And then Darcy has a shot and it gets cleared off the line. And Kieran Dyer was adamant that the ref could have brought that back and given the penalty if he'd played advantage. But with the looks of it, he didn't play advantage because he just didn't think that that was a penalty. And it's just bizarre because he just totally cleaned him out. And of course, it was the same referee who didn't think that Michael Jacobs was, smashed over in the box against Swindon in the first game of the season, last season. So I don't know. Will Chesterfield ever get a penalty again?
I don't
13,
know.
13 months now since Paddy Madden scored at Doncaster in that 3-0 win, since Chesterfield had a penalty. And, for a team like Chesterfield as well, who do regularly get into the opposition box, their penalty box entries are very high. I mean, I'm not saying that there's an agenda against Chesterfield or anything like that. I don't buy into that referees are like that. But you do start to wonder, like, when are Chesterfield going to get a penalty? Because if there was one going to be given, it had to be on Saturday.
Yeah, well, when you've got the likes of Darcy, Berry, Dobra to a certain extent driving into the box with the ball, you expect at some point that they're going to get legged up or something. But on that occasion, yeah, the goalkeeper just absolutely wiped him out. I know we were close to each other in the press box, and we just
Mm.
looked at each other, and everybody was shouting penalty.
Yeah.
Everybody at our side, and majority of those are Tranmere people as well, were shouting penalty.
Well,
You know,
everyone just paused because everyone was just waiting for the referee to blow his whistle, and then obviously you waited for Darcy to have the shot cleared off the line, and then everyone just like looked back at the referee as if to say, "Are you gonna blow then? Like that's a penalty," and it just never came, and it was just
no.
it was absolutely stonewall. Like you're not going to get more of a penalty than that. Um, yeah. So, but like I say, if Tranmere had a bit of bad luck in the first half, and maybe they got it evened itself out. I don't know if referees have a look at things at half time, or I imagine that they maybe get a little bit of feedback from the assessor or maybe just people around them. And maybe if they realise that they've messed that up, does it play into their mind a little bit? They shouldn't really be of the mindset to even it out, but you can see why it would sort of play on their mind a little bit.
Yeah, it's VAR would be very difficult in League Two and League One, I feel, just because it's like quite expensive, and it would make you'd be employing people again who's not necessarily referees because there might not be enough referees to look at the advantage, even though the technology is there to look again at situations because they do it on the
Yeah.
dugouts, don't they? I think it would just be a little bit difficult for the FA to sort that out. I think so. Sorry for the Football League to sort that out as well, because you'd be employing people again down at Stockley Park to have a look at it, wouldn't you? Not necessarily in the ground. So
Well, maybe they could have a bit of a light touch sort of approach where the fourth official could have an iPad.
yeah, that's true.
I
Yeah,
don't like fourth officials just stood in between both managers because I think that
no,
they're just asking. I'm not sure what their role is, apart from to put the board up. They just get it in the ear from both managers.
yeah.
Could they just have an iPad and have a light touch
Get them in
approach?
the stand as well. Don't get them on the touchline. Go
Yeah,
up into the top as well,
and
so
maybe
they're
maybe
away from the dugout.
both teams get one appeal for a decision. That type of thing, because there's just so much at stake, even in League Two, isn't there? There's a lot of money at stake.
Well, there is, yeah. I just don't think the EFL are going to invest in it. You don't get that that feed from them at all. You don't sense that that's what they want to do. But that's a good idea. Just having the fourth official doing something other than putting the board up, because you see that in rugby, an official up in the thing, and they don't need somebody on the sideline to put a board up. It's on the big screen. You just tell the person on the big screen
Yeah,
to do it. So there's going to be 5 minutes. And the substitutions can all be done that way. So yeah, that's a good idea. Something which you should send that into the EFL, Liam. So get them to look at that. So yeah, so you got an appeal against it. So Tranmere could have appealed the handball. That was prior to the goal that was
if,
ruled out. So
if you're successful, you keep your appeal. If you
yeah,
lose it, that's it. You can't appeal again.
yeah,
Just a light, not what we see in the Premier League where they're drawing the lines and the toenails are
for
offside
offsides.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right, and they're re-refereeing the game. We don't want that. Just at fourth official, Gary Roberts could go over to the fourth official and say, "We would like to appeal that decision as our one appeal a game." Ref comes over, has a look at it, and goes, "Yep, that's a penalty." And Chesterfield keep their appeal. And same for the Tranmere goal. Not just saying it from a biased Chesterfield point of view. Same for Tranmere. They could have, they like I said, so much confusion as to why that goal
Well,
was
yeah,
ruled out.
and they would have looked at the handball first, because I think that was before the offside goal not given. So they would have had their review. They could have been two up. So by half time, no, actually, no, just can it. We'll not bother, like I said, with it now. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, it just felt Chesterfield obviously gave away a lot of possession in the second half. Deliberately so, because that's what their instructions are at this moment in time. And you sense it, don't you, as well, that you just switch off for that just last little bit. And Lewis Gordon had such a good game, along with the rest of the defence. There was hardly any players out there that didn't put their all into the game. Vontae Daly Campbell was excellent down the right. I thought Lewis Gordon was excellent by and large to the game, but he just switches off for that nanosecond. But it's still another couple of phases before the cross gets put in.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's getting a bit of stick, isn't he, from
yeah,
some
I don't just,
Lewis
yeah,
Gordon? When if you ask the coaching staff, they'll say he's probably been the player of the year,
yeah.
in terms of consistency. Um, yeah, I didn't. I'm sort of that stage of the game. I've got my head in my laptop, so I didn't realize sort of the nature of the mistake live. I've obviously watched it back, and I mean, you can see what he's trying to do. Again, maybe you could feel it in the ground now. How high up we are in the press box in terms of the blustery conditions. He's just tried to get a little glancing header on it and then clear it down the line, and it's just ran away from him, hasn't it? And then the Tranmere players got in front of him and nicked it back. But Will Greaves closing down, and Tom Naylor just slips, doesn't he, at the
Slips,
edge of
yeah.
the box? And even Vontae Daly Campbell looks like he stumbles at the back post as he's trying to get across. It's just a bit of a calamity of unfortunate errors, I think. But yeah, like I say, as the game went on, you just sort of did have a bit of a niggly feel that they were just going to go and get one. But yeah, at one point the live table was showing Chesterfield as I think third and 1 point off the top, and then you looked later on and then back down in seventh, and it's just a league. It's just crying out for someone to grab it by the scruff of the neck, but no one can just put a run together. Again, a lot of the teams near the top lost, and the two teams in the bottom both had great victories. It's just a bonkers league, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, you look at it, 3 points now off Chesterfield are in seventh place. Exactly as they were at the end of last season, and you still don't feel that they've clicked into gear yet. But there was such a good performance on Saturday in terms of defensively that it's almost a shame, because there's only Chesterfield, I think, and Bromley have lost 3 games this season, but every loss seems like a catastrophic time. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like that at all. Every side's beating each other, at this moment in time. Nobody's got the real consistency, as you say, to take the league by the scruff of the neck and move forward. It's crying out for Chesterfield to do that. It absolutely is. And they must be frustrated themselves. But they're now 4 unbeaten, so 1 loss in 8. So is that the run that Chesterfield are going to go on? Barring the FA Cup, of course, and we'll talk about that in a second. Could this be the run that Chesterfield are crying out for?
Well, they did something similar, didn't they, at the end of last season, where they were 16th after that defeat at Colchester in March, and then I think 13 games unbeaten that got them into the playoffs, and it just sort of creeps up on you. All of a sudden you're 4 games unbeaten, and then you're 7, and all of a sudden you found yourself 10 games unbeaten. It's you can sort of, even if it doesn't feel like that, you might not be winning every week, but you're just still picking up points. Points in this league are, I think, a little bit more than a point, if you like. It's almost like 1.5, 2 points. Like they really do just keep you in the mix. But yeah, it does feel like just would have lost more games than 3. And yeah, they've that's the joint best record, isn't it? With Bromley. Like say some of the top teams. Gillingham absolutely flying high. They're not even in the playoffs anymore.
Not in the playoffs, no.
And then Chesterfield beat Salford the other week, and they're now 3rd. There's no explanation for it.
There isn't really. It's not something.
It's like last season. I don't really feel like in years to come you will remember Doncaster Rovers as the standout champions of the 24-25 League Two season. But they were top of the league after 46 games, and that's what matters. And that's what it might just be for Chesterfield. It might just be top of the league for 1 game, 1 week.
Well, exactly. Chesterfield beat Doncaster twice, quite convincingly so, in both matches, and yet Donny are the best team in League Two. It's just weird.
The teams that have gone up as well, they're flying up, like AFC Wimbledon and Bradford. Like they didn't even win League Two, and they might even win League One.
Yeah.
It's mental.
It's mad. It's mad. Before we talk about League One, because we've got Stevenage coming up as well, we'll speak about the sad news about the injury to Armando Dobra. First real major injury of his career, I'd say. He's been largely ever present since he signed for the football club. Very rarely does Paul Cook want to drop him from the side, and this injury that's going to be up to 12 weeks. Let's hope it is a serious one as well. So it sounds like a pretty much a tear, doesn't it? Really, for hamstring, for such a player that, like I say, has been top scorer for Chesterfield this season. He's got a few assists, and for him to be out until post Christmas now is a tough blow, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a shame. He had started every single league game this season, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe they'll look back at that and think, did we need to step in and rest him. I don't know if there are any signs, or maybe it was just unfortunate. You know, it's happened in training. You know, it can happen to anyone, can't it? Maybe that'll be something that they'll look back on. But yeah, you know, if it's 10, 12 weeks, you know, you're looking at into the new year, aren't you now, and beyond. But I suppose if there is an area of the team, you know, they have got options, haven't they? With James Berry, Dylan Duffy's back, Ronan Darcy, Dylan Markandi, Liam Mandeville. That there are options there. But yeah, you know, he's got 4 goals, hasn't he? 1 or 2 assists, I think, as well. So yeah, goal contributions are going to, you know, it is a big loss. And yeah, it's a shame for him, isn't it? As well, you know, he does like I say, he doesn't get many injuries. Well, he hasn't. He did it a few years ago, didn't he? You know, I think it was in the National League where he played like 20 odd games, and then the
Oh
year
yeah.
after he managed to get closer to the 40s or the late 30s, and then they've been getting more and more games out of him as he's got a bit older and his body's become more robust. So yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. It's a big blow, but Chesterfield do have some good options in those attacking areas.
They could do, and they could also add Will Dixon, who didn't get in the 18 on Saturday as well, to that role as a number 10, just behind Grigg or Bonis going forward. And let's touch on Lee Bonis as well on Saturday. I felt he was unlucky on Saturday. He could have been squared the ball a couple of times and had an opportunity on goal. He's just not getting he's not getting into the right areas to be able to get on the score sheet, I feel. But he's given absolutely everything, isn't he, to the cause? I got no problems just with starting with him on Saturday. You know, that type of thing.
No, he's just not. He does look a little bit bereft of confidence, I think, at the minute. And but again, a little. You know, you look back at the Chesterfield goal, and obviously you think about James Berry's run down the left, but it was again Lee Bonis in that channel who made a bit of a nuisance of himself and managed to flick it round to Berry for him to get away. So he has played a part in the goal. Yeah, but there were a couple of moments on Saturday where if the ball had just been played a little bit quicker to him or a little bit more quality, he was in. And as we've already spoken about, there was the penalty incident as well. Like I say, I still think he'll score goals. He's just he's still working out where he needs to be in this team, and the team is still working out how to get the best out of him. And I think Will Grigg coming back as well will help him because it'll just take the pressure off him a little bit. Sometimes, you know, he's probably feeling it a little bit. It's probably playing on his mind. So Will Grigg coming back in and will just sort of like ease that burden a little bit as well, I think.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, he played in a 2 at Den Haag last season and scored plenty of goals in that division. So yeah, I know it's a jump up. Perhaps it's a jump up as well into a different type of style that he needed to play. So, but we'll see. Yeah, I've got every confidence that he'll get goals going forward. So a big test then on Saturday, isn't it? Against League One Stevenage, who were top the other week, but they've dropped to third. But they've only conceded 10 league goals this campaign. If anything, Chesterfield need Will Grigg, to try and use his experience going forward. But I think it'll be bonus to start. Grigg's not quite fully fit. I wouldn't have thought yet. But this is going to be a tough ask for Chesterfield, isn't it?
Yeah, massively. You know, but it's where Chesterfield want to be, isn't it? They want to be in League One next season. So you know, and let's face it, Stevenage aren't a big club, are they? You know, not being disrespectful by saying that. You know, they're punching above their weight. I can't imagine that anyone would have had Stevenage near the top of the league at this sort of stage of the season. So yeah, managed by a former Rotherham striker, aren't they, Alex Ravel? Great home record, and so yeah, Chesterfield will need a performance like they did against Tranmere, and they'll have to go even one better than that and be more ruthless, won't they? But I don't put it beyond them. I think they can go there and get a win, and cause a bit of a shock. And, you know, got a good record in the FA Cup, and like I say, it's a test for them. It's a measuring stick, isn't it? You know, how far away are they from from League One and a top team in League One, or how close are they? So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it. It should be just sort of intriguing just to see, what the level is like.
Has to get finished on the day, of course. Extra time and penalties may possibly be the key there for that game. Chesterfield's record at Broadhall Way is, or the Lamex Stadium as it is called now, is 2 draws and a loss. And the last loss came in the season that Chesterfield got relegated. They got thumped 5-1. And they lost Ian Evatt to injury and Sam Hurd, I think, around that time as well, which really set a catalyst for the remainder of the season. But, you know, Chesterfield's record, as you say, in the FA Cup first round recently has been to get through, hasn't it? So, even qualifying from the fourth qualifying round has been pretty good. Get the defeated Horsham, it was last season, 3-1, and then lost out to Exeter and didn't really put in a performance, did they, at Exeter all that way? I can't remember whether you were you on your honeymoon for Exeter?
I
You
was on
were,
holiday.
weren't you? Yes.
I
You
missed that belter.
you got away with that one, didn't you? For that one, oh god, the weather conditions were awful that day, and yeah, they never really turned up, did Town? So a real shame for that one because they're playing against Gary Caldwell as well. So, um, but yeah, to get through to the second round has been their sort of go-to thing recently. I remember back in the 90s, the second round was like a luxurious holiday. So, but it never it never used to be.
I don't think anyone's going to lose any sleep, are they? If Chesterfield put in a good showing, but say lose 1-0, lose 2-1, you're out of the cup. It's disappointing from a financial point of view, and you would have liked to have maybe made the third round and got a big club, got a Premier League side. But we all know it's about the league. It's
Oh
about
yeah,
getting
yeah,
about getting promoted. So as long as they don't get hammered, because you don't want that to sort of impact the league season when they face Accrington the week after. But yeah, it's a free hit. There's not. I mean, even if they win, is it going to be seen as a massive shock? Maybe to some people, because of Stevenage are going well in League One, but it's not a giant killing, is it? It's I don't think Chesterfield will be dancing around the changing room. Put it that way. They've held West Brom before and and beat Portsmouth, of course, as well. And there was never the big celebrations after those games. So I don't think they'll go to Stevenage and be jumping around if they win.
yeah.
Because I think they've got that mentality now of we want to be in League One next season. So yeah, they can go there with an underdogs tag from the outside, but I think in the camp they'll feel that they can go there and win.
Just trying to think of the first round tie away from home, which Chesterfield last won. Because Curzon Ashton was a fourth qualifying round. Kettering was a home. That was the fourth qualifying. Anstey Nomaz was a qualifier
Yeah.
for the first round. So I think it might have been a while since Chesterfield last won away, and it's probably staring me right in the face right now, but I can't think of it. So that would, I just think, be nice to get an away first round win, So to go forward into the second round in that way, and to say that you've knocked out one of the best sides in League One as well to get through is something that they should aim
Yeah.
for, I think, going forward. But Kieran Dyer said that he's not going to make too many changes going forward. A strong side that'll go there. That hints at changes, though, doesn't it? Saying that. By and large, going to keep the same team. Would you thought?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be. I don't think there'll be too many now because I
Ryan
think, like I
Boot,
said,
Ryan Boot, maybe in for Hemming.
yeah, maybe Adam Lewis will get a game at left back.
Yeah,
Um, Devon Tanton or Donassian, maybe some minutes. But they've got the Liverpool game the
yeah.
couple of days later. So if they're thinking about minutes, then that's the game for minutes, isn't it? You pick your strongest team for Saturday, try and get a win. And then on Tuesday, you could play Lewis, you could play Tanton, Donassian, you could get an hour into Will Grigg, Ryan Boot in goal.
Well, I think it's
You
in
know
a
what I
couple of
mean?
weeks to Liverpool after the Accrington home game, but I think they've
No,
got
you
to
might be right, actually,
I
yeah.
think they've
Is
got
it
to
the 11th?
The 11th. Yeah, I think they've got a
Yeah.
reserve game though next
Hmm.
week, so that could be key for some of the players, like you said, to get a few minutes as well. You'd have thought Lewis and Donacien will play in there against Liverpool anyway, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So yeah, but you could see them. Yeah, you could see them getting um, a game on Saturday with it not being a league match, and then there being another week
Yeah.
to another game. It just depends if they've got. I can't. I seem to remember that they might have a reserve game. I'm not. I'm not sure. So. Um, would have to see then. But yeah, I think there might be a couple of changes at least going forward for that match. But yeah, it'll be a tough one, won't it? So and we'll be there. So
Yeah.
full match commentary on BBC Sport online and maybe on BBC Radio Sheffield as well. But it'll definitely be on online for full match commentary there as well. Just check out the pages on the FA Cup page on BBC Sport. It'll be me, I think, just me. But Liam will bring all his coverage as well from around midday, I think, or something.
Yeah.
You do a piece in the morning, don't you? The pre-match. So
Yeah. Well, we'll have the pre-match stuff on a Friday from the presser, and then yeah, get the blog up and running on a Saturday morning just to build up to it, and then yeah, obviously all the updates and the post-match stuff as well.
anything in the newspaper that comes out tomorrow? Anything new, different?
You know what? It's these days everything that goes online does go in the paper. So it's for people who read it online. You know, it is the same stuff that goes in the paper. It's just how it is. You know, that as a I'm not going to shock anyone by saying anything like this. Is that the focus is digital. The focus is
Yeah,
the website. We do still take pride in the print production of the DT, and it does still sell really well. And it is still a good product, if maybe you do read the DT sport online, but maybe you don't read as much as with the news. And there's some, lots of good community stuff in there as well, which doesn't go online. So and notices and court listings and all those sorts of things. So yeah, it's it still holds its own. It's local newspapers have declined in the last sort of 15 years or so, and but there's still still some going strong, and DT is one of them. So yeah, if you can support it, like I say, buy it for maybe someone who doesn't read as much online, then yeah, that'd be much appreciated.
there you go. Good stuff. Yeah, it's good to see a newspaper still being printed. That's good to see. All your audio for Chesterfield and the build up to the game. Who knows who'll be doing the pre-match interview this week? It's several coins in the air. It doesn't matter. It might be Danny Webb's turn this time. It might even be the manager. You never
Yeah,
know. You never know. So
yeah. I'm trying to think. Could be Paddy Byrne. Could if I'm thinking about the order that they went in last time. Yeah, might
yeah,
be Paddy. But yeah, it's nice. I think Kieran Dyers gave some good tactical insight recently.
yeah.
He's been very open with that, and Gary Roberts is a good talker as well. So it is nice to get a different perspective on what they're thinking.
It did.
Um,
It's quite funny though. Karen Dyer after the game on Saturday he did describe the League Two referees as shambolic to me, which I obviously recorded, which was cut out of the video one because the club film my interview, BBC Radio Sheffield's interview, and but he did describe them as shambolic on the After the Whistle podcast, which is also put out by the club for 1866 Sport Radio. So from two club angles, one was cut out and one was played out. So yeah, they obviously missed that one that it was there. So maybe he's got a point. I don't know. But yeah, thanks very much again, Liam. We'll be back with you for next week after Chesterfield cruise through to round two of the FA Cup and gain some well-earned cash as well. But yeah, Liam's keep up to date with all these pages as well. He does tweet out his stuff as well. So and so do I. We've got any news. So sad news about Armando Dobra, but Chesterfield do have cover in that area, and we hope he gets better soon as well. So good luck to Armando. And thanks for joining us. Please like and subscribe. Please tell everybody that you know, even if you don't like Chesterfield Football Club. So if you're just from the town, you just want to know how they're going on, just point the direction to our podcast, and we'll guide them in that way. So thanks very much, and we'll be back next week. So take care, everyone.